Hello everybody, I don't know what you can see right now because I'm in the car and I'm just holding you up through the steering wheel. I wanted to do this little vlog while I'm waiting because things have taken a really bad turn for the worst. I think it was yesterday, the days are sort of rolling into one to be honest, but mum's oxygen went up to 85%, not yesterday, I think it was the day before actually. They said we need to get it down basically, obviously, but they said that her heart was doing okay, everything else is fine, it's just her breathing. And then yesterday we had a phone call in the morning, I think it was the morning again, with the consultant. My stepdad had a phone call with the consultant in the morning and he said that they've had to give her 95% oxygen, so it's not good. Basically they said the outlook is looking bleak and we need to start preparing for the worst. And because her heart is absolutely fine, if her heart was to stop, doing CPR would not help, would not bring her back, because it is her lungs. And basically to prepare for the worst, and they are probably going to be discussing palliative care, which basically means she's going to die. I'm heartbroken. And then he got a call to say, we think it would be good for you to come into the hospital, come and visit. And obviously with COVID and everything, that's slightly terrifying as it is. But we, of course, jumped at the chance to go and see her because I haven't seen her since November, the very first few days of November. My granddad, my stepdad, my brother and me, hubby very kindly drove me all the way here and waited in the car last night. And we went to see mum at 7 o'clock, or that was the time it was booked for. And then we had a phone call, or I say we, it was my stepdad. They ring through my stepdad and then he passes on the message just to say, and this was like at 6 o'clock, so you need to get here quite quickly because things are going downhill. And I'd obviously been crying anyway because I've been told that my mum has no chance of survival. Went and visited mum. Mum looked so peaceful. She looks so peaceful. She doesn't, apart from obviously the tubes in her mouth and there was blood staining her nose and her throat, like her mouth. She just looked so peaceful. Her hands were out, so I held her hand and we stayed with her for about 2.5 hours. They had a minister from the Church of England come in and pray over her, which obviously left us in tears. And the nurses were just being so friendly and they were being very honest and saying, we don't think she's going to make it through the night. If she does make it through the night, then we will be turning off her oxygen. We'll turn off the ventilator tomorrow. So today. When I said goodbye to her, I felt like that was the last time I was going to say goodbye to her, and it's just hard knowing that that person hasn't seen you. They don't know that you're there, that you're never going to see them again. All these memories, all these things that she has to do. She has so much to do. We planned to go to like the sewing expedition or something. She wanted to go to a craft fair and she was going to take me to crafts as soon as we were able to after COVID. Obviously the kids really wanted her to come to the Isle of Wight, even though she suffers really badly with like travel sickness and motion sickness. They were desperate for her to go to the Isle of Wight and all of these things, and just the heartbreak. I literally have no words, but just the heartbreak of all of this. I went to bed, didn't sleep very much last night, just crying on and off and praying every time I woke up, just praying, please just keep her strong, God, please just do something. Like, he healed Freya's heart. I want him to heal my mum's lungs. But then she made it through the night. She's still here. She's still fighting. And they said that we can go in again. So that's where I am. I'm about to go in with my stepdad, my granddad and my brother. We're going to go and see my mum. And I don't know whether this is going to be the last time. They've said that they're going to try putting a nebulizer on, like a constant nebulizer, to see if that helps. And that's like the last thing they're going to do for her. And if it's not helping and improving, then that's it. I'm going to try and stay strong. I'm going to try and talk to my mum today. Try and tell her about things that she's got to live for. So yeah, I'll update you later. I wanted to make these videos because I genuinely felt like I wanted my mum to have stuff to watch when she woke up. So I continued vlogging, not as much actually because I've just been very upset, but I tried to document as much as I could over the past few weeks just so that she could watch what we've all been up to. The reality of that is that she will never see my videos again. At 3 o'clock this afternoon on the 5th of February, 2021, my mum passed away. Do you know what? It was really peaceful. After I spoke to you earlier, I met up with my family and we went into the hospital, went in to see her. She was on her front because they were trying to prone her, which is when they turn them from back and front to try and help. You don't need as much oxygen when you're breathing when you're laying on your front, I think, something like that. It looked more horrific actually because obviously her face was like squished up. We stroked her. I rubbed her feet because she loved having her feet rubbed by all of us. She used to rub my feet. We cried. I tried to hold it together actually. I felt teary, but I tried to hold it together at that point because I've just been crying constantly. And then the consultant arrived and said, "Can we speak to you?" So my stepdad, my brother and I all went into the room and my granddad stayed with my mum and sat us down and said, "This is the end." He said he wants to give her a couple more hours to see if the nebulizer works, to see if the fact that she was on her front, see if that would help her oxygen levels. But he sadly thought that that was just, it was going to be it, and they needed to do what was best for my mum, which was to turn off everything. Sort of just like the movies, we were just sitting there like in complete disbelief, but we sort of knew it was coming, but it was just painful. My stepdad, he then left us, the consultant left us, and my stepdad was crying. I broke down at that point, really crying. And my stepdad did hug me, which probably goes against all social distancing rules, but at that point in time, but we'd all been isolated beforehand, and then we all put ourselves at risk by going into hospital together yesterday and today. So we needed that comfort, and I needed that cuddle. I just bawled my eyes out. We haven't always seen eye to eye, my stepdad and I, but he's a good man. He gave my mum her kidney, gave her a few more years with us, enabled us to take her to Orlando with us. So I just thought, okay, we've got a couple more hours, that's cool. She's still got time, God's still got time to fix her. And as we went back out, pulled ourselves together, went back out to be with mum and be with my granddad and tell him the news. And there was quite a few like nurses and consultants and stuff around her, which was a little bit worrying actually. I was like, oh God, what's happened? While we've been in here crying our eyes out. And they were bringing my granddad back out towards us, and they said, right, we're going to turn your mum, Karen, onto her back so that you can spend time with her, and then we will turn off the ventilator. And I'd gone from having, oh, we've got 2 hours to like, oh, God, this is happening. So we went out, we explained it all to my granddad, who knows what's going on, but you know, he's older and you don't know how much they process. And then we went back out and we were with mum, and she looked more peaceful being back on her back. We held on to her hands. I held on to her arm, I stroked her hair. They turned off the ventilator. Well, they reduced the ventilator to 21%, which is what we breathe without a ventilator. And they basically let her body pass naturally. It was about 2:30, I think, was the time that I remember looking at my watch after, while we were standing there. I just kept staring at the machines and watching her heart rate go down and then back up again. And I was thinking, oh, yay. And then down again. And then obviously, just like the movies, it just flatlined and the buzzer went off, and the nurses were also brilliant. They kept talking to us through it all and asking what her job was, like what job she's had over her life, and we all held her. We were all holding her until she died. We were able to spend some time with her afterwards. No rush at all, but I think at that point we were all just broken. So we did leave after probably about half an hour, and I drove home and I stripped myself. I changed my top actually when I was at the hospital. I just put on a new jumper, and then I got home and didn't see the girls or anything. I just went straight into the bath and washed everything, and I dunked myself under the water. And it was hard to make the decision to go today because I didn't want to risk anything to my family, but I'm so grateful and thankful that I made the decision to go, and that I was there when she died, that she wasn't on her own, and that it was peaceful because she was sedated and on pain medication, and her heart just stopped. I've come home and we've told the girls, and the worst thing about all of this, well, no, I don't know, there's so many worse things, like so many bad things. I think it's Eva's birthday tomorrow, and we have to all just put on a brave face and get through it and make it the best birthday ever. Which it's not going to be, but we have to. Mum would want us to. Mum always was really good at presents and birthdays and Christmas. We haven't even had Christmas presents from her. And I bought her this like memory book for 2020 and she never got to see it. I just want her back. I used to ring her all the time. God, this is so hard. It's so raw, and I think that's why I wanted to film this today, because it is raw and I want to remember. Even though it's bad, I want to remember. I love her so much. It's been less than 24 hours since my mum passed away, but it's Eva's birthday today. So I've told myself that I need to stay strong for her, that I need to not show her me crying. I am crying a lot actually, but I'm taking myself away from that because it's meant to be a happy day, and she was so adamant she wanted the best lockdown birthday. She's been counting down the days since before Christmas. She was praying for my mum to be awake for her birthday, for her to come home for her birthday, for her to just be better. And obviously that hasn't happened. So I'm trying to be strong for her today, but I just feel like everything reminds me of her, like candles that she's bought me, or my necklace that I'm wearing, or Mickey Mouse. And then I think, oh, we took her to Orlando and we took her to Disney, and she went to Disney for the first time, and just all those memories. And everywhere I turn, like going in the kitchen, and I'm like, this is where I used to FaceTime my mum for hours on end when I was cooking. I just feel like everything is reminding me. And then my poor stepdad is obviously surrounded by the home that they used to live in, the home that I grew up in. He's been like a rock through this and reminding me all the time that he loves me like I'm his own. I don't actually have my real dad in my life. He's more like a Facebook friend. I don't know how to get through this pain in my heart. It hurts. And I feel like I can't catch my breath at all. I just miss her so much. We've still got things to organise, like her funeral and all of her belongings. I just don't even know what happens now. It's now been over 24 hours since my mum passed away. I'm feeling a lot calmer this evening than I did this morning. This morning I just felt like it was really hard for me to cope and breathe and not cry. I'm feeling a little bit better this evening, but I know once the girls go to bed I'll probably be a mess. But I've also had today some amazing people in my life that have dropped off flowers. I've had a lovely friend drop off flowers, cards. There's been an orchid delivered. The class of Eva's class all kind of gathered together a voucher for us to use for takeout. Means so much to us because it just means I don't need to cook for some days, which would be amazing. I'm really grateful. People have been so kind through all of this. My brother phoned me earlier, which was really nice. He never rings me. He's autistic and doesn't really speak at the best of times. When he was growing up, there's like 8 years difference between me and him, or him and I, and him and me, whatever way that is. We used to be really close growing up, but he lived with my mum and lives with my stepdad, so yeah, it was nice for him to ring me and we had a little chat and, you know, I'm so sorry, I can't believe this is happening kind of chat, but that was really nice to hear him. I've got a massive headache. I just feel like I've probably just cried so much. I'm so dehydrated and I need to keep drinking. I'll probably update you tomorrow or the next time. It has been 124 hours since my mum passed away, since the last time I got to hold her hand. So it's been about 5 days for anyone that's not counting in hours. So it's Wednesday, Monday, Tuesday and today. I felt more in control of my emotions. I feel less raw pain, if that makes sense. My heart is just longing to be able to speak to my mum again. I try not to cry again because this video is full of me crying. I think what has helped in a weird way is that when she was ill, back on like the 6th of January is when she started to become very ill. I didn't get to speak to her very much, so I think that was sort of a gradual introduction to it. So I think that the not speaking to her isn't unusual, but the idea of never being able to speak to her again is breaking me so badly. But I've managed to, we've had lovely snow this week since I last spoke to you, Monday, Tuesday and today. We're like living in a winter wonderland, which is one of my favourite kind of weathers, and I think that's been really helpful to ease the pain a little bit. Is that I've had the distraction of snow days and going sledging with the kids. In terms of the kids processing everything that's going on, Freya took it hard on the first day, on the Friday when we told her. She took it hard. She cried a little bit, but then was okay. And then we were all okay on Saturday, kind of. One of these clips, actually most of these clips are from the Saturday, and you'll see that I wasn't okay, but I managed to hold it together in front of the kids as the best as I could. And then on the Sunday, Freya just spent a lot of the Sunday crying. The past few days, I've definitely noticed that she's put together, but she was still crying every now and then and was a little bit clingy towards me. Like, a lot of the time I'll go, oh look, do you remember when Nanny did this? And she'll go, oh, I forgot Nanny was dead. So that's been Freya at the moment. I don't know how to help any of the kids, to be honest, but anyway. Eva took it very hard on Friday, was bawling her eyes out. She was desperate to have a locket with Nanny in, to create a memory jar. She was like trying to cling on to everything. Saturday was her birthday, so we were all distracted. Sunday, she became obsessed with trying to talk to our friend in America. I think it's because there was like a connection, because the last time we saw her was with my mum. Eva's not getting to sleep very well, so it's like 9, nearly 10 o'clock some days. And you can tell she's not 100%. Normally she's quite a bubbly person, and obviously we're dealing with lockdown, which she doesn't deal with anyway. She doesn't deal with that very well. So we've got all of that as well as the situation with my mum. Today seems to be better. Eva and I on Sunday to try and like spend some time with her one-on-one. I did some baking with her where she was talking about my mum a little bit more in more like happy ways, like Nanny used to do that, and Nanny used to teach me how to do this. Elsa the whole time has just been, Friday she just looked kind of sort of blank and a bit numb maybe. She didn't really cry at all. She hasn't cried at all, actually. The main thing that she's been doing, so she's 6 years old, the main thing that she's been doing is asking questions, and how did the coronavirus hurt Nanny, and how did it take her, and what's heaven like, and about it, remembering things, saying to me, oh, Nanny used to love when Nanny used to give me kisses. I didn't like her kisses, but I wish I'd given her more now, and things like that. But over the past 2 or 3 days, she has been very angry at the world. Nothing seems to be pleasing her. Today has been quite clingy and wants to be with me, and she's not really interacting very well with her home learning, which we don't have to do. The school have been amazing, so don't even worry this week. Take time, be with your family. But I want to try and keep things as normal as possible. Everybody has been absolutely incredible, giving flowers to me, cards to me. We've had a delivery voucher from Eva's class and also from a church member, so we've got, and it wasn't even a small amount, it was such a big amount, and I just can't believe how generous people are being towards our family and so helpful. Yeah, so many messages, so thank you so much if you're watching this and you have sent me a message. Just thank you. Know that I have read every single one. I haven't responded to all of them yet. I'm finding some of them quite hard to respond to and read, but yeah, thank you. Just thank you. I know that at the moment I might be feeling relatively calm and in control of my emotions, but I know that this is going to come in waves, and I'm sort of expecting that. I come from a long line of very strong women, and somehow I'm finding this strength. I have absolutely no idea how. I know that the funeral is going to be really difficult, and I know that I've got to write, well, I don't have to, but I want to write a letter to my mum, but I'm finding it hard to find the words. I know what I want to say, but when I go to write it, I just don't know what I want to say. And I want to say everything, but without it being like 3 hours long. Yeah, and I did that for my nan. I wrote a letter to my nan, and I just think that my mum was such a big part in our lives that I can't just put it down into one little letter. The funeral is going to bring back loads of emotions. I know that going back to her house for the first time is going to bring back loads of emotions, and I know that opening the Christmas presents that she made for us, or she made like bags, and she was showing like she made a sack for the kids, and we haven't had that yet. We never got to have the last Christmas. the reason I'm continuing to blog and stuff like that is because my mum loved this. She loved my job. She was very proud of it and took part in it a lot of the time. The video ended really abruptly, so just wanted to say thank you so much for watching and going through this journey and this video with me. Thank you for everybody's comments over the past few weeks, and yeah, just thank you everybody. I just can't believe she's gone.